Good morning. In February of this year, I stood before you to set out the process by which a new Commissioner of Education would be recruited to lead the Department of Education. Today, I am pleased to introduce to you Dr. Edmund Heatley, who will take up the role as our new Commissioner of Education on September the 11th. Dr. Heatley began his career in public education as a classroom teacher in the Norfolk, Virginia public school system, teaching students with disabilities. In 1998, Dr. Heatley traveled to California, where he spent 11 years of his professional life, initially as learning director for the Clovis Unified School District in Fresno, California, then as assistant superintendent of educational services for the Grant Joint Union High School District in Sacramento, California, followed by time as associate superintendent for personnel with the Oakside Unified School District in Oceanside, California, and finally the superintendent of schools of the Chino Valley Unified School District in Chino, California. During this time, Dr. Heatley also served as adjunct professor of education at the University of Southern California, California State University in San Marcos, California, and at Old Dominion University in Norfolk, Virginia. In 2009, Dr. Heatley became the superintendent and chief executive officer of Clayton County Public Schools in the state of Georgia. In this role, he was responsible for overall leadership and management of the district's 67 schools, including pre-K through grade 12 and adult education, as well as administrative, school leadership and supervisory staffs, instructional programs, and business and operational affairs. Dr. Heatley has a record of managing and leading change. This appealed to the board, and we continue our reform of Bermuda's public education system. Dr. Heatley has an impressive CV and is someone to take our education system forward. Before I provide Dr. Heatley with an opportunity to address you, I would like to remind you of the process by which Dr. Heatley came to be with us today. In January, permission was sought to advertise this post both locally and overseas. A recruitment panel was established comprised of myself, the board chair, the deputy chair, Ms. Kim Wilkerson, the secretary to the cabinet, Mr. Donald Scott, the president of Bermuda College, Dr. Duranda Green, the permanent secretary of education, Mr. Warren Jones, and the senior human resources manager, Mrs. Germaine Trott. Following a review of some 70 applications, a shortlisted pool of qualified candidates was interviewed. Those candidates provided the panel with a presentation setting out how they would take the Bermuda public education system forward. Out of that process, 2 candidates were brought to Bermuda and assessed through an independent provider measuring emotional intelligence, personality profile, performance management, and leadership. While in Bermuda, they also met with members of the Board of Education, which includes parent representatives and representatives of the relevant unions. This was a rigorous process, and I am pleased that we can present Dr. Heatley to you today. On behalf of the Minister of Education, the Board of Education, ministry staff, principals, and teachers, we welcome Dr. Heatley to Bermuda and look forward to giving him our full support as he works on behalf of the children of Bermuda. Dr. Heatley?
Thank you, sir. Good morning. First of all, let me just say how great of an opportunity, how excited I am to be welcomed to this great island of Bermuda. I think the work that we have going forward is all about children. I am a child. I'm the youngest of 6. I'm a father. I have 3 children of my own. And I'm an educator. I'm what you call a lifelong learner. Every day I look for opportunities to get better, to learn something new. So I hope the talents that I bring, joined in with the talents of the team that I am joining, will help us take the Bermuda education system to a new level. There's a couple things that I want to address about me, who I am, my philosophies, and those things. As Mr. Dickerson said, I've been an educator for 17 years. I've sat in several different seats. I've been on several different teams, and those teams have allowed me to hone my skills as a leader. I'm collaborative by nature. I believe all children can learn at a high level. I believe that accountability, decision-making, data-making decisions, database making decisions. I believe that transparency is a key, and I believe that parents have to be our partners. I believe that if we set our standards high enough, our children will reach them. We need to make sure that we provide the opportunities and the support and the resources for staffs to get them there. and we are poised, and we promise to do exactly that. Before I conclude, I want to make sure that I address one thing. I am sure that most of you, if not all of you, have done the Google search on my name, and yes, I know what's out there as well. I will say to you that some have used the term controversial. I believe I am a change agent. I believe I'm put in positions to look at and find the good and to expound on those, to find the areas that need strengthening and to strengthen those and provide opportunities for our students and our staffs to excel. I believe that transparency, partnership, and communication are the key. I am collaborative by nature, but I do not hesitate to make the call when the call is needed. The internet blogs, in my opinion, are someone's attempt to gain leverage in the status quo. When you're looking at a change agent and you're looking at the field of education, we're always looking to do better with what we have, to do more with less. That requires change. Change hurts. So read the blogs if you choose, get to know Ed Heatley as a person, as an educator, and as a community member in Bermuda, and then you will see who the commissioner is. Again, I am very excited to be joining this team. I cannot wait. September 11th can't come soon enough. I want to learn, I want to meet, and I want to live alongside of and work with every Bermudian here. Thank you very much.
Thank you. That concludes the prepared remarks I have placed for each of you. We will open the floor to questions. Mr. Langley, Bermuda Broadcasting Company.
Dr. Heatley,
Yes, sir.
it's pretty documented the troubles that the Georgia education system had. Having been there and been a problem solver, what have you identified any glaring problems in the Bermuda system so far?
Glaring, no. Areas that we want to focus on, we have. We've looked at capacity building. We've looked at our middle school data. We want to improve and increase expectations and accountability there. Transparency and communication. The biggest thing I think that we've seen is bringing our parents back and our community back into the schools as our partners.
How do we address parental apathy?
The first thing you have to do is we have to invite them in. A lot of us wait for an invitation. When it doesn't come, we stop waiting. So one of the goals we will have is to say what we're going to do and do what we say. We'll invite them in and we'll have things for them to do when they come in and join us. But to get them back into the schools, we simply need to invite them.
Any move to push the school to be more of a center of our community focus?
Yes, sir. We believe that the more our students and our families surround themselves with the school becomes theirs. The more ownership they have, the easier it is to move forward. And again, everybody's now vested into the school. So yes, sir, we'll be looking that way as well.
Jonathan?
Yeah, Dr. Heatley, I suppose in terms of the reforms that we're going through in Bermuda, what's next under your leadership?
A little too early to tell, but what we will do first is we're going to collaborate. I've been studying for a long time. I had my first meeting today, which I thought was awesome. Got to meet the team, some of the team. I haven't met the whole team. But through meeting the team, what we have decided is open communication. We've decided on transparency. We've decided that we must take an active role in regaining the confidence and the trust of the community. So that's going to be the biggest endeavor that we undertake, and it's already begun. That's not something new that I'm bringing to the table. We're just going to enhance it. And so that's the first reform. Before we can get into the schools, before we can talk about capacity building, before we can talk about teaching and pedagogy, we've got to talk about the students that we serve and the parents who believe and want nothing but the best for their children.
When did you arrive on the island?
My second time was yesterday afternoon. I'll be back on September 9th, and then it's full bore. But we've already started moving forward with our agenda and our expectations.